Well, yet another vampire anime for me to watch and review. Let's just hope it's better than this colossal piece of shit. Hey guys, the Black Critic Guy, and I proudly present my first ever Patreon anime review on the anime Seraph of the End as requested by Patreon supporter Sam B. Now, Seraph of the End begins with a mysterious virus that wipes out a majority of mankind, leaving mostly kids under the age of 13 unaffected. And with mankind's supposed annihilation, the race of vampires who've been living underground all this time now hold dominance over the world, capturing those left alive and using them as their servants slash livestocks. From here, we follow Yuichiro and Mikala, two orphan boys living in the vampire city with other orphans whom they call their family, who plan to escape their captors. But unfortunately, their plans go awry, leading to the death of their family, and it gets pretty gruesome, that scene. Mika, who is terribly injured, sacrifices himself so that Yu can escape, and once he does, he gets saved by a man named Gurren, who is a member of the Moon Demon Company. And from then on, Yu trains to become a strong soldier so he can destroy vampires and get revenge on them for murdering his family. Now, I personally have never heard of Seraph of the End, not from any YouTubers, not from any anime fans, nothing about it until Sam requested me to watch and review it. And so I went in completely blind, not knowing what to expect. And what do I think of this anime? Well, that's why you're here to watch this review, right? First up, as per usual, the animation done by newcomer Wit Studios is pretty serviceable. You know, it's nothing really bad, but it isn't anything incredible either. I mean, they had some solid character designs, some decent backgrounds, although I felt like the backgrounds were really static and just painted on, and they just put like character designs over them. But honestly, that's just a nitpick. They're still decent to see, and they did really well during their action sequences. They were intense, they were thrilling, the animation was on point for the action sequences. But I can't help but feel a bit disappointed with the animation here in Seraph of the End, considering that this is the same studio whose first animation gig was Attack on Titan, which had incredible, mind-blowing animation. Like, the animation in Attack on Titan is still breathtaking to see. Like, that is just some amazing animation right there. And to think that this is the same studio that did this, they went from doing the incredible animation of Attack on Titan to kind of holding back here in Seraph of the End. Now, there could be many other factors to attribute to the really downplayed animation in Seraph of the End. Maybe financial reasons, maybe creative reasons, I wouldn't know. But honestly, I'm just saying it from how I see it, considering that this is the same studio. It's kind of disappointing to see them kind of hold back here in Seraph of the End. Come on, guys, I know you can do way better than just serviceable. In fact, I've seen you do better. The action here is your typical shonen fare. You know, a lot of sword fights, explosions, and secret abilities put on display, but it's not to say that it's not fun to watch. As I mentioned earlier, they are really thrilling to watch, especially in some of these action sequences. Like, there's this one that happens in Season 2 where this guy is literally hauling ass and just cutting through a whole regiment of guys. That was actually really cool to see, and the animation was really good in that scene as well. The English dub done by Funimation was, I mean, you all probably know what I'm gonna say about the English dub done by my favorite dubbing company, so I'm just gonna let you fill in the blank right here. No, not that! But yeah, there's not much to add. I thought the English voice actors did a really good job in their performances. They each delivered. But of course, you all know me. All the things I just brought up are all just superficial points to the anime. The thing that I put the most focus and attention and emphasis on are the story and the characters. And I have to say, they're handled very well. The story in this anime is quite intriguing to say the least, though I couldn't escape this sneaking suspicion that the story borrows heavily from other anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion and Attack on Titan. Hell, the entirety of the second half of the first season damn near resembles the entirety of the second half of Attack on Titan. It's one whole mission. That's exactly what it is. So I will say that the story is intriguing, but it isn't anything special. But they do have some really standout moments. Most specifically, episodes 10 and onward. That's when the story really picked up momentum. They show us that the story is much more deeper than just your typical revenge, us versus them type story. It's way more complex with that, with a lot of politics involved, hidden agendas, and betrayals that keep you coming back for more. In fact, I would say that is the most fascinating element in this entire anime. The complexity of the story and you trying to unravel what is happening. Not to mention the emotional core of the story that not only affects the audience by tugging at their heartstrings with its many heartbreaking and tear-jerking moments, but how they affect the characters, as many of the characters' actions are based on their emotions and experiences in the past. It's what gives them drive and gives them purpose. And finally, we got the characters, all of which were pretty solid. Some of them had some really good backstories and got a lot of development. And I did feel chemistry among the characters, particularly with Yu's team and Yu and Mika. I, for one, really dug each of the members of Yu's team. I mean, yeah, sure, they are archetypes you would find in any given shonen action anime, but that doesn't change the fact that they're freaking awesome, they kick a whole lot of ass, they get a lot of focus and attention given to them, they're quite well developed, and you understand their motivations, what drives them, what each of their personalities are like. They all stand out and they have great chemistry among each other. Like, you got Shinoa, who's the leader of the team and basically the Botan of the group. She's very positive, optimistic, bubbly, pokes fun of the main characters, has a badass side, but deeply cares for each of the members and can take a situation seriously if she needs to. Then you got Yoichi, who's basically the Shinji type character of the group. He starts off really weak, really pathetic, and he doesn't really have much of a backbone, but you really see him nut up in this anime. You see him grow and develop, which I like seeing. And they do it much faster than they did with Shinji. You know, it took him an entire series. This one, it took him about maybe 5 or 6 episodes, and then he became a freaking badass, and I love the development they gave him. And then you got Shiho, who's basically the hard ass of the group. He kind of is very distant. He makes fun of the main character as well. In fact, he's very antagonistic to the main character, but that's because he has a tragic backstory dealing with his sister getting sick, and he's kind of distant, although he truly cares for each of the members of the group. He cares for his team. And then rounding it up, we got Mitsuba, the obligatory tsundere of the group, who also has a very tragic backstory that explains why she acts so hard on you and why she puts so much emphasis on being a team, working together. There's actually a story that ties into that, and it's actually quite fascinating to learn about that. And to highlight again, the team has impeccable chemistry, at least when they're bonding with each other. They all just kind of connect, they click, they have some really funny and interesting banter. Although there is one major thing that holds this team back from being excellent, and I'll expand on that more later on. And the last 2 characters I'll mention is, of course, Yu and Mika. I don't want to go more into this as it would give away major plot points in the anime, but let's just say that their bond is still strong from beginning to end. You feel like these two really deeply care for each other. Although I will say that in the opening, I mean, it's just so weird to see them like putting their heads together as if they're almost gonna kiss. I mean, come on. What is up with the homoerotic vibe in this anime? Can't they just be really close, not having this sort of hidden sexual tension underneath it all? And it doesn't matter anyway. That's just there for the fangirls to swoon over, you know? It doesn't really detract from the anime. But there are some issues in this anime that does detract from it. And let's explore those. First issue that I found with this anime deals with episodes 2 through 9. Yeah, they were just really boring and uninteresting. I didn't really care what was happening from episodes 2 through 9. Nothing really engaged me. And they just followed the shonen formula beat by beat. I mean, they literally hit every single note. You got your shonen main character who's a bit of a rebel, doesn't like to follow the rules, is very arrogant, doesn't want to listen to anybody. He gets into a lot of trouble, but it ends off paying off because he's really powerful and it shows his strength. He befriends some people, he gets into conflicts. I mean, literally, it's just the same thing we've seen in other shonen animes and done better. In fact, I would go as far to say that episodes 2 through 9 almost ruined the anime for me, as it gave me the same feeling as when I was watching Aldnoah.Zero. And you all know how I felt about that anime. And kind of tying into the last one, the absolute biggest issue I found with this anime that just irritated me to no end is how they always kept beating you over the head and shoving it down your throat the importance of teamwork. Like, they put so much emphasis on it. Now, that's not the problem. I have no problem with them putting emphasis on teamwork. I'm glad that they do. They constantly would say, hey, you gotta work as a team. You gotta cooperate together like a team. Teamwork makes the dream work. The problem is that they rarely show any teams actually cooperating with each other like a team, especially Yu's team, who get the most focus out of any other team in this entire series. I mean, yeah, sure, they have impeccable chemistry when they're like bonding with each other and just like shooting the shit, you know, talking with each other. When it comes to action scenes, whenever it comes to them formulating a plan, it always goes awry because you have Yu constantly Leroy Jenkinsing his way into action scenes. Like, you know, they're like, hey, let's form a plan. And he's like, nope, I'm just going to charge in and attack. I'm going to do whatever I want. And the problem that I have with this is if you're going to put so much emphasis on them working as a team, actually show them working as a team. And if you're not going to show them working as a team, which they constantly bring up, we need to work on our teamwork a little bit more, show some consequences, repercussions for their actions. You have freaking Yu charging in into any situation, about to fight anybody, and he gets no punishment for it, and there's no consequence to the team. Like, I would understand if he would like charge into a situation and get badly wounded, or maybe one of his teammates like bites the dust or gets mortally wounded, something to show that there is a cost for not working together as a team. It's nowhere in this anime. There are times, yeah, it seems dire and it seems like they got affected by something, but then they're just, it's nothing. I brush it all off. Like, there's this one scene where Yu makes a stupid decision and it costs him greatly. But then afterwards, it's like, nope, it's all fixed now, you know, it's no problem. The whole consequence of my actions, there's no repercussion for it. Now we're gonna move on to the next scene. I'm like, no! There should be consequences for your actions. If you're going to put so much emphasis on teamwork, actually showcase what happens when you don't work as a team. But what hurts most about this is how it shows that Yu's character doesn't really grow or develop, or even puts a lot of trust and emphasis on his team. If they actually showed him throughout the series actually cooperating and working alongside his teammates, then I could see some true growth in this character. But he constantly makes the same stupid mistakes in each scenario. He's so hot-headed and arrogant, he only sees it his way. And that's just not good on a character standpoint and on a team standpoint. Another major issue I found with this anime was that there were some characters that were introduced that could have been very interesting characters had they developed them a little bit more, but they just turned out to be cannon fodder characters, just characters there to bite the dust, you know, make it seem like, oh my god, it's a dire situation for these characters. But the problem is that they didn't really develop or flesh these characters out enough for us to really get attached to them. So when they died, it was like, oh, okay, well, they died. That kind of sucks. Like, there's this team that's introduced in the later part of the first season that would have been an interesting team to really learn about, but we get no real time with them. We learn nothing really about these characters, and when they bite the dust, you're like, they died, I guess. Oh, poor, what's her name, and poor who that is. I don't really remember their names. I don't remember much about them. They didn't really stand out, so when they died, it's like, well, who cares? I mean, Yu's team is fine, right? Nobody died there. Okay, no biggie. Move on. That is not how I'm supposed to feel in that situation. I'm supposed to feel sad. I'm supposed to feel sorrow and empathy for the characters. They lost some of their friends. They even point out that was one of my best friends and they died. How dare you, you scumbag? And I'd be like, yeah, but you never really explored any sort of friendship among them. I never really felt like they bonded, so I really don't care. And the final issue I had with this anime was the fact that it does end on an open note, leaving a lot of things unresolved and unexplained. There's just so many things that they didn't tie up by the end. It just made me feel really unsatisfied. And the ending just felt like a go read the manga type ending. And you all know how I feel about those. Now, I can be completely wrong about this being a go read the manga type ending. I mean, after all, this anime only came out last year, so maybe they're working on the second season right now to be released in 2017 or 2018. We don't know yet until we hear an announcement. But from my experience, watching animes like this, the way that this ending happened, it just spoke, go read the manga if you want to know how it ends. And that just really aggravates me to no end. Hell, one of the characters had the audacity in the very last moments of this anime to say, oh, things are getting really interesting now. Really? Screw you, man. How dare you say something like that to me? So overall, is Seraph of the End a great anime? No. Is it a terrible anime? Not at all. I enjoyed bits and pieces of it. I did like the characters. There were some fun action sequences. The animation is serviceable, and that's what it comes off. It's a serviceable anime, and I'll give it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. It is an enjoyable anime. If you like animes like this, I say give it a watch. But anyway, what did you guys think of this anime? Did you really enjoy it? Did you get a kick out of it? It's probably really boring and mediocre and you just couldn't get into it. And let me know, who's your favorite team leader in an anime? Comment below, let me know. I want to take this time to personally thank Sam B for supporting me through Patreon. I really appreciate it, man. Sorry that this review is late. I mean, he put this request in like early April. It's like the middle of May now, so thank you for your patience. And I'm going to try to get to all the other Patreon supporters as well. I got 2 more I got to do that were requested to me. And if you would like to support the Black Critic Guy just a little bit more, you can click the link in the description and it'll send you straight to my Patreon page. You don't have to donate a lot or even do any of the perks that I put up there. You could just donate $1 and that would mean a lot to me. I mean, there's over 65,000 of you guys. If each of you just donate $1, that would go so far to help me out and make me like be able to do this for a living. So anyway, that's just me shamelessly plugging my Patreon. Stay tuned. I got some movie reviews, some unboxing, more anime reviews, so many videos coming away, so get excited for that. And until then, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on this channel and be a part of the Black Critic Crew, please hit that subscribe button below, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and I'm Tony Watt II, the Black Critic Guy. Till then, peace, YouTube.